One of my favorite book quotes, or to be more specific, life quotes, lies in next two sentences. Francisco, what is the most depraved type of human being? The man without a purpose. These words I have read in Ayn Rand's most distinguished book, Atlas Shrugged. So, I want to confess, I was that person. I was in the depths of my own emptiness and fear, since I used to think there was nothing special in me. Neither flame nor passion, not even a sight of any interest. Why? Let me tell you a story. One of my best friends in primary school was passionate about music. She literally lit up from within whenever we talked about her favorite performers, releases, and songs. I used to think her life will be for sure connected with her soul element. Well, the thing is, she had horrific marks in music lesson. I remember one occasion on break just before the music class when she was eagerly telling me things she learned related to some artists, and then the bell rang for the beginning of the class, so I asked her whether she would go. She laughed and said, "No, I don't want to go. I hate music classes. I just can't stand them." To be honest, I chuckled as I heard her say, in a way of such aversion, but in a moment, I looked into her eyes, full of something I couldn't process, which reflected one bare question in my mind. How? How could a person who was always so enthusiastic when things went to music say something like that? Finally, I made her go with me by saying, "We must visit the classes whether we like them or not." And repeating this all the time spoken words out loud made me think, why? What's the point? Will it always be the things which stand in our interest are as a rule outside the education system? It was the very first time when I thought that there was something wrong with the place which was supposed to educate us. However, as years went by, I have simply adjusted to the current situation of school standards along with other teenagers. Back then, I just did what school required of me. I always had a lot of homework and other things which kept me occupied. My teachers, Olympiads, and other academic results claimed that I used to be one of the best students. My parents were satisfied with my marks, and it all seemed to be perfect, didn't it? Yet there was one little thing which would completely ruin the flawless picture. And it did indeed. But before I explain this case, we ought to clarify the key questions and definitions in order to understand, do I really have the right to complain? Firstly, we have to ensure we realize the crucial goal of school in our life. And here we go to loud and clear Google's version, which says that school is an institution for educating children. And just after that, we are shown with such a good example, right, of children didn't go to school at all. Wonder why? At that point, I took a step deeper and came across Sir Ken Robinson, who was a British author and international advisor on arts to the government. In his book, Creative Schools, he underlined the goals that school culture has to fulfill. Two of them, which I consider the most important, are economical and personal. Now, I believe everything is clear with the vision that primary purpose of school education was to provide a person with a chance to get a job. But here we go to focus on the second one I mentioned, personal. And this is when my story continues. The core issue which revealed a hidden problem under the perfect marks was just a simple question. What do you want to be when you grow up? No, I won't tell you all the list, luckily for you, but a determining thing I noticed. As a child, I used to give millions of answers, but eventually, as every school year went by, after every time I neglected my interest for the sake of school expectation, which set higher than my own one, after every time I was being limited by only true 4 options, A, B, C, or D, which I must accord to, I lost my millions. Moreover, I lost myself since I used to skip myself. And what's the consequences? And new statistics released by a leading exploration website, MC Kinsler Company, let out that 44% of undergraduates are unable to define the industry they would like to work in once they graduate. Huge number, isn't it? The horrific news is that under this number are hidden thousands of unspoken stories of distinctly talented and bright young people who were forced to adjust their brilliant minds to what people call the standards, and who ultimately got lost in the ocean of unfulfilled desires and unrealized potential. Nevertheless, there is no foolish expectation that we can change the whole education system at once. There is only a statement that we are able to make a difference. And all it takes to begin with is the dare to tell the truth. Being honest with myself seemed to be the only secret of me getting out of the deadly school cycle. Remember, you won't solve the problem until you recognize it. The lesson of breakdowns will repeat until you get it. So I encourage you, do not waste your time. So I encourage you, do not put off your fears, but face them, to give yourself a chance to be. Finally, I want to say to all teenagers listening to the struggle of not fitting into the frames of school judgment, breathe in and breathe out. You are not a dumping ground for all the narrow school tests and unnecessary stuff reduced to the only one true part of you, but a uniquely phenomenal individual with your own 3P things, with your own perception, with your own perspective and inner potential, which fortunately reaches much larger dimensions than just a school specialization. Thank you.